Right, and in the last video, I talked about what septic tanks are, and why it's important if you're looking at rural properties, what you should be looking for. That's a real issue if you're a real estate wholesaler, or even if you're a flipper, what you need to look for. And all just as in the same way, any rural property, this video is going to be about wells. Okay, wells are something important that you're going to have to deal with. Okay, as opposed to city, being in the city. If you're a city slicker, we always call them here out here in the country, you just connect, everything's connected to the water. It's not an issue. But if you're looking at a rural property, you want to know where they're getting the water from. And if it's at a well, that can be a fairly expensive proposition. Okay. So a couple of things you need to be aware of. There's essentially three different kinds of well systems out there that you're gonna see. Okay. The first is just the individual well. There'll be a well house, or the well will just be right outside. You see the wellhead kind of thing. And if you don't see the wellhead, you need to find that. You need to know where the water's coming from. Turn the water spigot on. Is the water coming through? If there's no power, get a generator there, get the power going, figure out where the water's coming from. If there's no water, you got a real problem. Okay, like a real problem. Because I mean, what if you need a new well, Okay, and wells 30, 40 grand, 20 grand, Okay. So the price of the house is went up 20 grand, right? Does that make sense? So, anyways, the first well is an individual well. You can find it. The second one is we call them essentially a shared well agreement, where you have one well, and since wells cost so much money, you have two houses, maybe three, and they have a shared well agreement, and it's recorded in the county. It's memorialized, and each buyers of each house, they sign it, and they just agree, that they're going to upkeep the maintenance, pay the probably pay electricity, not probably pay. They will be paying electricity, so it's gonna they'll talk about how who's paying the power, that kind of thing. They're both gonna share it or whatever it is. Okay, who's gonna fix repairs? Sometimes they'll have an escrow account where they put money into it every month, so that in case the well goes bad, there's 20 grand in this account, and they could hire a contractor and fix it. Right? Does that make sense? Each one's different, but that's what a shared well agreement is. So it's really convenient if so you don't have to build, drill multiple wells. Okay. The third one, this one I hate the most. This is like a community well agreement, where essentially we have a bunch of houses, maybe a subdivision, small subdivision. They all get together. That hires, they have they have all this paperwork, right? The bylaws and so forth, and this shared well agreement to have a guy, the president, the treasurer, and all this kind of thing. It's similar to that. They collect money every month, and they have a central well house, and they have a guy that's on staff who's able to, or on call rather, to fix the well in case of problems. The challenge though is something bad happens to the well, then they go, well, okay, everyone's going to pay 10 grand to fix it, and so if you don't have 10 grand, then you're in a bad spot. So, but they exist. Okay. Those are hard because you're dealing with all these people, the personalities. This guy's getting a root canal. That guy's on vacation in Hawaii, whatever. Okay. This guy's always busy with work. So it's hard to get a hold of whoever you need to get a hold of about the well. But that's what you need to understand. So where is that well coming from? Where's the water coming from? Is it individual? Is it a shared well agreement, or is it in a community well agreement? And again, in my mind map I have on here, on my YouTube channel, my also Facebook group, I go through all that so you can kind of see the questions you need to be asking. But suffice to this video, you just need to know where the water is coming from. Okay, and if you don't have a well on the property, you need to understand you're gonna have to get one. Wells are not cheap. Okay, so you're gonna have to. How do you know anything about how do you know about the well and so forth? If you can't find it, also reach out to your water resource board, and they'll have a permit in there for when the well was made. Okay, and you can learn all about the well, who drilled it, all that kind of thing, and how deep the well is, the kind of pumps that's involved, that kind of thing. Okay, and this goes back to where kind of what I was talking about in the septic tank video. For what you're concerned about, okay, as a wholesaler, is you want an extension of your buyer builder or your flipper's business model, right? You're going to get the property under contract. You're going to sign for a profit, get paid. Your buyer then is going to rehab the property. He may have to put a new well in there because the well failed or something, right? He spends all his money in there, and then he's going to sell it on the open market. He's going to get Bob and Sally are going to get a loan. They want to buy a home. They're going to get a loan with Wells Fargo, some lending company, okay, credit union, something, and that lender is going to send out an appraiser, and the appraiser is going to want to know all about that well. They want to know the gallons per minute. Okay, so if you have a well that's not producing very many gallons per minute, it's not certified, the appraiser may say this well won't suffice, which means then the seller is going to have to put in a better well pump. Maybe they have to redo the whole well. So that could be really expensive in the future. So you just need to know that. Want to know gallons per minute that's coming out and what kind of well it is, that kind of thing. So you can give it to your buyer, and your buyer's going to give that to the appraiser and that kind of thing. Okay, so I hope this helps you understand that. One last thing too, wells are expensive. So how do I get a well? They're gonna have well drillers out there, and they're gonna have well logs, have paper, and they know how it's based on how deep the well is. Okay, I've done some really shallow wells. I mean, I had to do one that's 500 something feet deep, and it cost me about 40 grand one time over that. So you want to know kind of what that is, all right? So just talk to the well drillers, ask them, hey, and they got plenty of good boys. They got plenty of great stories to tell you, but that can kind of give you an idea of how deep the wells are in that area. Okay. So I hope this helps you. If you need some clarification on wells or any kind of rural properties, you want me to look at a deal with you, whatever, let me know below, and we can potentially do some joint venture and certainly get on a Zoom call. It won't cost you anything. Godspeed. We'll see you in the next video.